You're tuned into Repco Muscle Garage, the home of New Zealand's toughest muscle cars, hot rods and street machines. Proudly brought to you by Repco, in association with Mount Shop, Maguire's and Rislone. This week, the much anticipated return of the Scroungers hot rod blowout. And Matamata Panel Works turns 21 in style. But first, thanks to the crew at Maguire's, we're checking out Matt's bagged and boosted jaw-dropping C10.
It wasn't any particular reason really. I was just browsing on Trade Me back in 2007 and it was for sale in a much different form as what it is now. And yeah, always had an affinity for step-side pickups since back in the day with the Tamiya radio control cars and stuff like that. So yeah, drew my attention, picked it up, and then it's been a journey ever since. Usual story, when I got it, it was a nice tidy driver. Had it for about a year, and then the original motor that was in it was a bit tired, and that sort of forced me to look at some options. Went with a GM ZZ383 motor. That, along with smoothing a few panels out, just sort of developed into what we have now.
What you're looking at is version 3. Version 1 wasn't too shabby, to be fair. Good enough, in fact, to nab the cover of NZV8's October 2010 issue. The truck was seriously slammed, but Matt would take further issue with the inch or so of daylight that still dared to show between the truck's body and the tarmac.
A pretty tidy truck at that stage, a lot of smoothing had been done, and I guess the next phase was when I got an AccuAir E-Level kit for Christmas one year, and upon installing that we decided to make the truck go the whole way to the ground. And if you know a square body step side C10, to get those steps laying on the ground, it doesn't happen very easily. So that involved a whole new tray being built, new steps being built to look OE, and yeah, a whole lot of work going into getting that extra 1.5 inches to get it to lay out. Chassis wise, it's a relatively stock frame, got a monster C-notch, Ridetech 4-link, Chris Alston control arms up the front, and airbagged obviously with AccuAir management, so that enables it to handle and lay on the ground, as well as that it's got CPP drop spindles, so that all helps. I guess body-wise, yeah, there's not one panel on that truck that hasn't been modified in some way. It's got the mirrors deleted, side markers deleted, door handles deleted, drain rails deleted, all that sort of stuff. Engine bay, I guess, is where it's most well known for, so everything from custom firewall to radiator shrouds to front cowl to second skin under the bonnet, like that's all done. And then the thing that was part of version 3 and taking it to what I think is the next level is the whole new tray. Yeah, the plan with the tray never was to make a whole new tray, it was just to sort of lengthen the guards and lengthen the steps and make it all sort of look right. But I think the end result was definitely well worth it. When you look at it next to a standard one, it's got so many subtle differences that you just do not see, from the extra width of the bed sides to the little wing details on the back. I had a fleet side that I bought sitting in my shed, and it was very easy to put that on and just start modifying that, and we're really close to doing that. And I think if we'd done that, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't have got the recognition that it has. It wouldn't have been featured in magazines overseas. The fact that it's a step side truck sitting like it sits is what is the point of difference. Yeah, it's definitely the right decision in the end.
Getting a C10 this smooth certainly throws its share of curveballs, but it's been so well executed that the stuff you don't see has just as much of an impact as what you do. Matt is quick to acknowledge the early efforts of Nikisha Klaus and later Jason Sellers and Corey Abbott, who'd see the truck through, overcoming the plentiful speed bumps that a build of this level throws at you.
Oh yeah, there was plenty. 3 windscreens shipped over from Texas. You know, that was some pretty heartbreaking times during that period. The first one was just sitting on the truck while Corey and I had a beer and looked at how cool it was going to look, and it just slid off the front of the truck and smashed on the ground in front of us. That was after waiting for 9 months for it to turn up, you know, so days like that were definitely, yeah, pretty hard to deal with.
Fortunately though, the lows were offset with the highs. Offset being the operative word.
It got to the end of the build and I was investigating different wheel options, and I've known Tony House for quite a number of years, and he works at DTM Wheel and Tyre now, so lucky enough to get hooked up with them via Brendan Tordoff. Got the opportunity to select some wheels and went with the American Racing wheels, and yeah, they just came out awesome. You know, having a 345 tyre is pretty cool on the back, and the 20x12s, and just being able to order a set of wheels and say, give me the least amount of offset that you do and I'll make it work from there, and yeah, worked out perfect. It drives really good. It's 383 small block with a Pro charger. Still relatively old school, got a turbo 350, 12-bolt rear end. Drives well, but it's still an old truck at the end of the day. It's got no heater, no air conditioning, no power windows. You know, it's just an old truck that you get in and cruise in. It handles like you expect it to handle, but you know, that's what it's for, right? Otherwise you just drive your Ranger around everywhere.
With version 3 securing a second NZV8 cover as well as international coverage, it remains to be seen whether Matt can now leave the low-slung Chev alone. But with all the build goals ticked off and a step side that drops jaws on a world stage, it's clear Matt and his crew more than achieved what they set out to do.
Even when I look at it now, I see plenty of imperfections in it, but I know it's still a high quality build. But I surrounded myself with some good people that, you know, had the same passion as well. Once the build had started, everyone wanted to see it completed to a high level, and we all sort of drove each other to achieve the result. It's just different. There's not another step-side C10 like this that lays out on the ground that's boosted in the world. So, you know, you're one of one basically.
Okay, thanks to our mates at Mount Shop, we're off to the Matamata Panel Works Open Day, a celebration of their 21 years in trade. Sure, they might sit right up there with the best in the business these days, but 2 decades back, this was a workshop with humble beginnings.
Oh yeah, back then we just crash work. You know, we were in a rural country town, so rusty trucks and Massey Ferguson tractors, and the 70 Boss 302 over my left shoulder over there was the first car that we restored 21 years ago, and that sort of started things off for us. And we started to get a few more restoration jobs, and the name got a little bit stronger. The big one for us is Fraser's car. He put the big challenge out, and we delivered on that, and that sort of changed the direction big for us and to where we are today.
21 years on, and this workshop in a quiet little corner of the Waikato has carved itself out a legacy of all-steel cars. Cars that stack up against the best the globe has to offer.
Did a bit of celebrations last night with, we call it the Panel Works family. Great night and a great day today. A lot of people here, and it's fantastic to see the support of Panel Works in the community. Basically, it's been a while since we opened up our doors. We started it back in the old shop. I think it was 2017 or 18 was our last one. We were planning on doing one last year, but COVID, and then 21 years we thought, let's go ahead and do it. People can come in and actually understand what we do and get a feel of what's out there. And the great thing this year is that we've had the guys in the Shelby plant. They've actually put together the whole front of an F-150 Super Sport truck. And over in the paint shop, we had Blair putting the stripes on the Super Snake, plus all the trade stands that are in there as well. It's all the people around us that we use, and we're all celebrating it together, so it's a great day.
Seems that Matamata Panel Works weren't short on 21st revellers, the open day invite commanding a turnout bigger than plenty of car shows. Many of the Mustang owners clubs from the Waikato and Bay of Plenty areas, keen to support the workshop that's built some of the most unique pony cars in the land.
We've been branded with the Mustangs, and it's not a bad thing, it's a great thing for us. We love it, and you know, the ones behind us there, they look fantastic, you know, and we're very proud and privileged to build those cars. We just do what we want to do. We just get in here and do cars with a passion, and whatever happens, happens. And if it's a way that people know that it's a Panel Works car and they admire it and think it's cool, that's great.
A level of innovation, detail, fit and finish to the highest standard means Matamata Panel Works cars have a distinctive look about them, but it's undoubtedly the series of all-steel Eleanor-inspired Mustangs that put this Waikato workshop on the map. The cars get more intricate as the build numbers grow. Yes, a reflection of the team honing their metal mastery, but also a healthy case of one-upmanship going on. It seems each new customer takes inspiration from the last and eggs on Malcolm and the crew to go one better.
It's a challenge, isn't it? It's a challenge, and I'm sure the last person gets a bit brassed off when his car's finished and I come up with another idea. But a lot of these cars are the guys, the team's ideas, the customer's idea. We've got a great fabrication side with June and Johnny Rolden and RJ there, and they've got some passion, man, and those guys, they've got to be recognised to where we are today and what they do. Yeah, fair enough, we've got the ideas and the customer walks in the door and he's got the money. But these are the guys that are changing that canvas to look what's over our shoulders, you know. So where do they come from? Days like today. You know, these one or two walking around right now have been inspired, and I've already spoken to them. So the next slot is already there, and he goes along the car and he's gone, oh, I like that, I like that, I like that. Can you all merge it together, please? So, you know, they're already in the pipeline. We've probably got 2-3 years work ahead of us, which is fantastic.
It appears 21 years on, there's no signs of slowing for Matamata Panel Works. With an already enviable legacy on show today, the team aren't the type to hit cruise control from here on out.
Over 21 years, I think it's 18 cover cars, and I think I counted 8 here. I'm not quite sure, maybe a bit more. So there's a few more out there than what we've got here, including the fold-in, which the shop nearly got blown up from. But yeah, where's it gone? Where do we? Yeah, it's a good question. I think the last time you were here, I said, watch this space, and we came up with Shelby. Watch the space again. We're going to a new build. We're going to a new building, all under one roof, one big venue. We're going to have a big resto shop in there. We're going to have a crash facility, a paint division, and Shelby up the front, a nice showroom. So the boys here, the team's worked hard to get to there, and hopefully this is the year that we do it, and maybe this time next year you're going through a new building.
Protection of hybrid ceramic.
Whoa.
Now in 3 easy-to-use products. In original spray wax, now as a liquid wax, and a spray detailer. Meguiar's hybrid ceramic family with advanced SiO2 technology. Meguiar's, ceramic made easy.
Rizlone has been in engines almost as long as engines have been in cars. Why? Because from then until now, there's never been a perfectly clean fuel. This means every time you fill up, you're adding pollutants and contaminants to your fuel system. Rizlone Fuel Injector Cleaner can cure those woes and help save your engine. Rizlone Fuel Injector Cleaner adds an upper cylinder lubricant, providing double the cleaning power out of the same bottle. We know something about aging well, so when we say it's your engine's fountain of youth under a screw top, you can count on it. Rizlone is the original engine tune-up. Available at participating stores near you.
Welcome back to Repco Muscle Garage. Right, thanks to Rizlone, we're back with more event coverage. And this one's a bit special. The much anticipated return of the Hot Rod Blowout. Hosted by the Scroungers, the Blowout might have been MIA for the last 5 years, but they've picked up the format right where they left off. An intentionally low-key affair with a cracking lineup of traditionally styled hot rods, period drag cars and great music.
It is a celebration of hot rodding and drag racing from a traditional perspective. You can't just drive your car and say, hey, I'm here, and you get invited to bring your car in. It's not there to get as many people as possible with cars. It's about a curated presentation of cool hot rods.
Nobody was really doing a traditional one-day car show, but that was something that we talked about for quite some time before the first blowout. When we did the first blowout, it was a staged event. It was people who were invited, right, and we were scouring the countryside trying to find the right vehicles to put in there to make it look like a traditional car show. And so it just all came together at the right time. I think the timing was everything. But for us guys, previous to that, yeah, there weren't any traditional car shows. There were traditional cars here and there. And those were the guys we invited and went, hey, let's all get together, and then that way it'll be great. You know, we can take photos and it'll just be all cool stuff in the background. And so that's what we always tried to encapsulate, was that, you know, you see these lovely old magazines and pictures and stuff, and you know, car here, but in the parking lot, all 50s cars or 40s cars. There wasn't a Japanese van sort of like, you know, Toyota Hiace sort of sticking in the back, ruining the shot. That's what we wanted, no offence to Toyota Hiace van owners.
So, Hiaces are off the guest list, but the Hot Rod Blowout's niche gets narrower still. The Scroungers are a small group of mates with a taste for the traditional roots of hot rodding, and the blowout is very much the extension of that. In a nutshell, it's old school, a nod to the origins of hot rodding, long before the days of billet and independent suspension. Hell, even radial tyres get a sideways look. With such tight criteria, the blowout is never going to topple any of the event calendar big guns, but that's never been the point. In fact, even regularly landing on the same day as a major event seems to have done little to stifle its popularity either. It's a day out that's left a big hole in its usual autumn spot.
It wasn't often that you could go to a car event and somebody go, oh, you're going to do the blowout again? Oh, you guys should do it. Yeah, so it's always like, oh, yeah. And you'd have to come up with some sort of reasoning behind it or whatever. But yeah, it is relief for now people to go, we're having another one. Because there's lots of other events around that people do, which are, better in a lot of respects and bigger in a lot of respects and more of this and more of that. So it's not like there's a lack of it out there now. There's really cool stuff out there now. So I'm kind of, in a lot of ways, surprised that there was that many people that were adamant that we had to do another one, So that's very cool.
Cool because many cite this low-key hot rod show as a big driving force in the resurgence of period-style hot rodding in New Zealand. It started life small in an alleyway before the growing turnouts dictated a shift to Avondale's kart track. 2021's return may have been a little more modest than the last 2015 outing, but COVID can cop the blame for a fair bit of that for sure. A gamble on a drop in Auckland's level coming true, but with only a day to spare. However, the show certainly served up everything that had been sorely missed.
When we started this, it was a struggle to get 30 period-specific vehicles together. We had to go to the drag car scene, Barloo, Green Meanie, and pull those cars in to give it that authenticity because there wasn't enough hot rods. So now there's coupes, roadsters, pickup trucks, all of that stuff. You could get, I don't know how many cool traditional cars out there. It's incredible what's happened, and thank goodness. It's great, good to see.
I keep coming back to, words authentic and pure and very real, but that's what the blowout's about. I've been involved with putting a lot of events on over the years, and I can't think of too many of them that aren't put on for, at some point, the collection of money, and the blowout is not about money. It's a gold coin, $5, whatever, to get in. It's not about money. You don't see massive sponsors, logos over everything, and that's very pure and that's very unique anywhere.
It's never been about turning into a commercial thing, which has helped it, I think. It does have that old-timey feeling where it's like there's not people trying to take money everywhere you walk. Good and relaxed, and being a one-day show, which helps too, because people come, some people spend a couple of hours, some people stay there all day, and it just works good, I think,
While the blowout is very intentionally not out to make a buck, it is still a show with motivation. The chance to celebrate the simpler days of hot rodding and drag racing sure sets a great backdrop, but the blowout's MO is to honour those who have made significant contributions to the New Zealand scene as we know it. The list includes often unsung heroes and pioneers of our automotive culture, and this year the names of Redviz Charles and Dave Graham were added to the '59 Chevy trunk lid.
Some of those people haven't seen each other for a long time, and it is all about memories, it's making memories for everyone. And I think that's what does make it special. No one lives forever, so you got to get out there and mix with them while you can.
If you can have a kid turn up there and get so turned on by it and into it that they start, following the path of building a hot rod or figuring out how they can build a hot rod or just hanging out, places where they might get closer to having a hot rod, that's awesome. That's given someone something to dream about.
Your ride needs some love, we've got you sorted. Thanks to our mates at Maguire's, we have this massive complete car care pack worth over $760 to give away. Plus, a $500 mount shop voucher to keep the underside ship-shape too. And to top it off, 1 year subscription to NZ V8 magazine. To enter, simply head to themotorhood.com and hit the Repco Muscle Garage link. The winner will be drawn at the end of the series. Easy. During this year's Repco Supercars Championship season, the garage is your go-to place for all things supercars and motoring. Exclusive content, special guests, and your chance to win amazing experiences at the track. Register your interest today. Repco Muscle Garage was proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts. Mount Shop, undercar specialists. Maguire's, people who love cars love Maguire's. And Rizlo, high performance additives for high performance vehicles.